Welcome everybody, here we are once again with one of our wonderful take-home science kits. Super excited about this one. We're going to go a little bit high-tech in kind of a fun sort of way. This is Olga.
Hello.
My name's Sean. Olga's our Director of Education here at the Hands-On Science Center. I'm the Executive Director, and we are so glad you guys are joining us today. So this kit, we're going kind of high-tech, yeah?
Kind of.
Yeah.
We're going to make a toothbrush head more high-tech than you would think it'd be.
That sounds strange. All right,
does,
well, let's
doesn't
see. Hopefully everybody's got your little take-home science kit. If not, that's fine. These videos are going to be up for a long time, and you can look for some of these supplies online probably. Some of our kits are super simple. Get your supplies at Walmart. This one, a little bit trickier, but as you watch and see the supplies you need, you might be able to order some of them. But let's see what we got here. So first is our instruction manual. This is our Bristle box experiment.
It's a little bit of a tongue
All right.
twister, yep. It's
So we got
Bristle box.
that. And then we have a few sheets of paper. We'll get to those in a little bit. Got our pencil. And we got a little bag with some other supplies here. In there, I'm not going to open it yet because there's some little stuff you want to make sure you don't lose. But you should have a little button battery, some scissors, a toothbrush head, pipe cleaner, some googly eyes, because who doesn't love googly eyes, a little teeny tiny motor, it looks like some double-sided tape, and some little sticky stickers that we're going to need for something in a little bit. All right, so Olga, what in the heck is a Bristle bot and why should we care?
Well, they are little robots that we are going to make, and we're going to get a little high-tech today, and they are made from a toothbrush head. Just a regular toothbrush they're not used. Don't worry, they're brand new. And it's also just to show us a few different fields of science. So we're going to bust out our engineering skills. We're going to learn a little bit about, actually quite a bit about physics concepts, some electricity circuitry. There's a lot of science that's going to go behind our Bristle bots, why they move the way they move, how they even turn on, what operates them, what makes them go.
Cool.
Because they're very little. This is probably physically our smallest kit that we've ever made, but it's really interesting and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, well, that's what I really love about
Yes.
these kits is that, believe it or not, you're actually learning some really important concepts while having fun and making these cool projects.
You don't realize it.
Yeah, it's just kind of, surprise, you learn something.
Exactly.
And I happen to know that this is going to be a really, really fun toy to play around with. So let's go ahead and get started. Very first page in your book, we got a little test. Now, this test is actually, kind of fun, but it's also really important for us. We want to see if you guys are learning anything from these kits. So we have a test at the beginning and the exact same test at the end, right there. So we can see if you actually learned anything throughout the lesson. So if you could fill that out. One thing that would actually be really, really helpful for us when we're applying for grants and determining how well our education programs are working, after you take these two tests, if you can get your parents to maybe take a picture of the two tests and either email us to info@hosctn.org, or if you want, they can even just do a direct message via Facebook. That way we have for our records the pre and post tests, so we can compare and make sure that our programs are truly educational and accomplishing the mission of teaching people what they need to know. So if you go ahead and pause right now and then answer these 3 quick little questions for us. Don't look ahead. If you don't know the answer, it's fine. Just write in there, I don't know, and we'll see how you do at the end. All right, so pause. All right, so hopefully you did that quick little test, and we are going to dive right in. It says, ready, set, buzz. All right, so, what is that? It's talking about a Bristle bot, toothbrush robot movement generated by vibrating motor. What is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, so It is going to create a vibration, the motor, once we do turn it on, and what that vibration is creating is kinetic energy. And kinetic energy is an energy that's caused by motion. So what's really neat about this project is the engineering aspects of it is that we are turning electrical energy into mechanical energy. So that's kind of how we're converting energy in our little bristle bots.
Okay, so
It's really neat.
kind of down the page here, there's a little picture of a battery. I have a feeling that's kind of important. I'm going to pull out our little battery real quick, and if you guys want to pull that out, I'm not going to open it up yet, but if you look at the top of it, there's a little plus sign. So I'm guessing on the other side is a
Negative.
negative.
Yes,
All right.
exactly.
So if we look at our picture here, a little picture in your book, you see a little light attached to a battery, and then this wire. Can you explain what is happening in that picture, Olga?
Exactly. So the connection between the positive terminal of the battery, it creates a complete circuit. So think about like a light switch in your house. If you turn on a light switch, you are closing the circuit. So that means that you have positive and negative all connected to one another, and you're able to turn your light switch on. And then when you have an open circuit, that means that your circuit is broken and your object doesn't turn on. So when we dive in and make our bristle bots, we're going to have two wires from our motor, and one will connect to the positive terminal on top, and then one to the bottom, and then that is going to create a closed circuit. And then when we do that, then it's going to bzz, and then start moving, and then that's how it's going to take off.
Great. All right, so now I know in this kit, we want people to do a lot of experimentation and kind of figure themselves out, figure things out for themselves, trial and error. We'll all get into that in a little bit. So we're not going to give you a whole bunch of, details on stuff, but I think there's a few concepts that they might need to know so they can design their experiments and figure out the best way to make their little bristle bot work. So the first thing that we talk about on here is friction. So what exactly is friction?
Friction is the resistance of movements when an object rubs against one another. So it acts in the opposite direction of the movement that it's going into. So when we have our bristle bot and it's taking off and it's going on the ground, it's creating movement that's against the table, so it's able to operate. So without friction, our bristle bots wouldn't be able to move at all. And another way you could think of friction is a simple, quick experience. If you rub your hands really quick together, think of somebody starting a fire with rubbing two sticks together, maybe, Boy Scouts or, way long ago, or anyone out in the woods. Your hands get really hot really quickly. They're rubbing against each other really, really quickly, and that force going in the opposite direction is creating that friction.
Great. All right. So that's very important to keep in mind when we move on later. Let's see. It says here, converting energy. We will design, test, and refine a robot that converts energy from one form to another. So what does that mean? How is it converting from one to another?
Yeah, so we kind of mentioned that a little bit briefly earlier, but so what's really neat about this experiment, the engineering kind of aspect of it, is that we are going to convert energy. So energy will be converted from an electrical energy to a mechanical energy. And how that works is your electrical energy is from your battery. So the battery, it's made with chemical energy, and then the chemical energy converts into the electrical energy as well. And then once you attach later with your battery, and you stick it on with your sticky pad onto the toothbrush head, and then you let it take off after you make your little legs on your bristle bot, then the energy of that motion that's created from it is then converted into mechanical energy as
Great.
well.
All right. And the next concept, and we're talking about a bunch of different concepts in physics here. Taken, one by one, they may seem like, well, why are we talking about all these different things? But stick with us because you're going to need to know these concepts in a second. So this next, just basic concept is center of gravity. What is the center of gravity of an object?
Yeah, so the center of gravity of an object is that one spot on your object where all the weight, the mass, is centered completely. So we're going to, what I like about this part of teaching center of gravity with our Bristle bots is we are going to let the viewers at home and our little scientists, our engineers that are making the kits today kind of test out the center of gravity by themselves. So
Great.
if we have a lot of weight on one side, center of gravity is going to be completely off balance. But if you have similar, you distribute that weight towards the middle, it's going to run a little bit more smoothly, and it's not going to maybe be as sporadic. And as we dive into our Bristle bots later, you will be able to see that center of gravity a lot more.
Excellent.
It's a lot more physics in these little toothbrush heads than we think.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is very famous scientist Isaac Newton came up with the Newton's laws of motion. Sounds super important. Newton's laws. So these apply to physics, and they kind of are like laws of physics. And we're going to just really quickly go over 3 important Newton's laws. And I know the first one, get a cute little cartoon showing them. So the first one is law number 1. Things stay in motion or are at rest. So can you, explain what that means? What does it mean? Things stay in motion or at rest?
So if your toothbrush, your Bristle bot, you let it take off and you don't do anything to it, it's going to still keep on moving. So if it's at rest, if we don't connect the batteries with it, it's going to stay at rest. It's not going to move as much.
So a simple way to put it, when I'm lounging in front of the TV, unless somebody moves me, I'm not going to move. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. You're
Okay.
you're a perfect example of the first law of Newton's laws.
Perfect. All right. So our little police guy here says law number 2, force, mass, and speed are related. What does that mean?
So if we make our Bristle bots, the more mass it has to it, now that could mean you can make 2 legs, 4 legs, 6 legs if you want to. You can do whatever you want to with your pipe cleaner. If you have like a washer, extra washers, maybe a penny you want to tape to, anything to put a little bit more weight. The more weight your Bristle bot has, the more force it needs to move it. And then vice versa, if you have less mass on your Bristle bot, it's not going to need as much force.
So essentially, all right, so law 1, I'm lounging on the couch watching TV. I'm not moving unless somebody moves me. So let me see if this works. So for law 2, I'm lounging on the couch and I eat a whole bunch of pizza. It's going to take a lot more work for my fiance to get me up to clean the kitchen, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You're just like a Bristle bot.
Yeah.
Kind of, maybe a little sporadic sometimes.
Yeah. So Newton's law number 3. Every action has an equal reaction.
Well, that's exactly what we mentioned earlier is friction. That is friction. Number 3, that is, friction is the prime example of Newton's 3rd law. So without friction, our Bristle bot wouldn't be able to move. It rubs against that table and it's able to take off.
Cool. So, I push you. It takes, since you're so light, it takes a whole little bit of force, but
if I push
it's actually
you,
pushing me with that amount.
If I push you, it's a little bit
Right.
harder, right? Or if I move this table, it's a
Yeah.
little bit harder.
Or if even like shooting a gun, there's that kickback.
Mm-hmm.
That is the opposite force, right?
Exactly.
So Forces always match each other. Oh, excellent. That is our Newton's laws. So we are going to go to the next page here. And this one is another pretty important one that you'll kind of need to think about for these pages that we have coming up here. So we're going to talk about those a lot. So cause and effect. What do those concepts mean?
Yeah, so cause and effect, it's kind of a simple concept, but at the same time, incredibly important. That's the reason how everything happens the way it does. So these bristle bots, it's a very open-ended project because no matter what you do with your legs and how you change your leg configuration meaning how you position your legs, it determines what happens. So the cause is the why and the effect is the how.
So the cause is me lounging watching TV and the effect is the fiance getting mad.
Pretty much.
All
yes.
right, so
Yes.
real simple. Or this little cartoon here, you know, the cause is the girl watering the garden, and the effect is beautiful flowers growing. All right, so you know what this next header says? It says, make your own. So I think in just a second, we are gonna start doing the fun engineering stuff.
We are.
All right,
Absolutely.
so we're gonna go ahead and make sure we have all our supplies and join you in just a second. All right, everybody, so we are back. We went ahead and opened up our little bag here and have all our little supplies out. Just a quick little warning, this kit does contain some small parts, so small children should be monitored by their parents as they're doing this. We got a little small battery. We don't want anybody swallowing a battery or anything, so make sure you keep an eye on that. And Olga is going to, she's right here on this first white page of our booklet, and she is going to walk me through the steps of making my very own bristle bot.
All right, awesome. So here is a brand new toothbrush head that we have.
Okay.
So we are going to have that out first. Now, the first thing we want to do is take our little piece of tape.
All right.
Now we are going to peel the adhesive backing from underside of tape. Press tape onto brush, peel adhesive backing from top of tape.
All right, so I got that on. Good. I got that on there.
Yeah.
And
So-
peel off the tape there. So now we got a sticky part on top.
Let me see this real quick. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you did it perfectly. When you do stick it on, you want to have a little bit more of the tape towards the flat side of the back because later when we put the motor on,
Okay.
we want the little back part of it to hang off a little bit so it has room to spin. So you did that
Alright.
good.
So
Awesome.
we got that.
Yeah.
Now what?
Now we take our little motor
Okay.
and now place the motor so it hangs off the tape and can spin freely.
All right, so we want the wires going towards the rounded side or the flat side?
Towards the rounded side.
And then the actual motor itself towards the flat side though?
Towards the flat side, a little bit sticking out of the back.
So a little bit out the back, kind of like a little jet engine there, right?
Yes, exactly.
So we want it just like that. All right, next.
Awesome. Now we are going to bend and gently press one of the wire leads, either red or blue, onto the tape as shown. Do not press too hard. The wire can be buried in the tape, preventing contact with battery in step 4. So any of these,
So we want the actual little metal part sticking out to be touching the tape?
yes, it could stick to tape, but don't just, jab it in there
Right.
too tight. Yes, just like that.
All right, so we'll try to zoom up as best as we can on there. So you don't want it where the silver part is sticking off the tape. You want the silver part of the wire pressed right there on the tape.
You can have, yes, again, it's safe to put on the tape, just don't really jab it in there too deep. All right,
Okay.
next we are going to take our battery, stick the battery on top of the exposed wire lead stuck to the tape. The side of the tape marked plus, which is positive, must face up. Leave a gap between the motor and the battery to insert pipe cleaners in step 6.
All right, so we have a little battery here. One side of the battery is kind of the flat, smooth side and
That's
has a
the top.
plus.
Yes.
The other side is kind of rough. It doesn't actually say minus, but you know that's the minus, And the top, the smooth part with the plus sign is the plus.
All right, so
we're gonna,
put that towards the front, just to give it a little bit of space in between the motor and the battery so we can put our pipe cleaners, our legs.
all right, so we're gonna stick that right onto the sticky tape,
Yep.
right on top of our wire that we stuck to the sticky tape. There we go, just like that.
All right, so
and
far
next.
so good. Okay, now test the connection. Take the free wire, not under the battery, so this wire
So
that's
for me,
sticking
it's
up,
red.
and touch it to the battery.
All right,
The bot
moment of truth.
should buzz.
So we're gonna take this wire, bend it down. Oh, look
There
at
it
that.
goes. We have closed the circuit.
The end of my little motor there, you can see spinning around. Oh, cool.
It's really
All right.
small, so hopefully it's not too hard to see on camera, but it's really neat. So the bot should buzz, are buzzed. If not, check. Both wires should contact the battery. The motor end should have room to spin freely. So if yours isn't buzzing for any reason, check the wires to make sure they are both touching the battery at the same time and that the back of your motor is able to spin. If it's hitting the toothbrush, then maybe you could take it off and move it back a little bit. That tape is really strong, so it should be able to hold it. All right, this is the fun, unique part. We're adding its feet. Place pipe cleaners onto the adhesive in between the motor and the battery. So before we do that,
So we got one, right?
Yes, we
Are
have
gonna cut
one.
'em?
So what's really cool about this part is you can make it your own. Sean is folding his over, ripping in half. So if you want to, you could try taking two very long legs and putting them on your battery right in between and see, does it move? Are the legs too long? It might be too long that it's lifting the whole bot off the ground. So if that's the case, maybe you might have to make them shorter.
So I'm gonna experiment. I got the short legs and long legs.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
So
All
we're
right,
not going
what
to
do we do
exactly
next?
tell you how you have to do the legs. That's the fun part.
So what's the basic idea
Okay,
with the
so
legs?
what we are
there?
going to do is place pipe cleaners on the adhesive, which is the sticky tape, in between the motor and the battery. So that's why you needed that little bit of space. And then press down to adhere. Fold the pipe cleaners down to stabilize the bot.
All right, so we stuck it right on the center
So
there.
Sean's doing a longer legs at first.
So I'm gonna kind of fold them down.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna set it on the table. We wanna make sure that the bristles touch the table and the legs touch the table. Right?
Do you want to put your googly eyes on first?
Yeah, my googly eyes. We can't forget the googly eyes.
We gotta make it come to life, right? So add googly eyes. Peel adhesive backing from the googly eyes, stick them on the head of your bristle bot. So you can stick them right here towards the front. And if your googly eyes fall off, it's okay, they're for decoration. You could glue them back on with school glue, super glue, if you have parents' permission and supervision at home. And you don't have to use the googly eyes. We just think they're more fun with them.
Of course, you could try it with and without them and see how that affects the center of gravity, perhaps.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, so I'm gonna stick my googly eyes right up here on top.
Oh,
there we
cool.
go, Google.
How
All right. So, all
So-
right, what's next?
Now, let it run. Take the free wire and wedge it in between the pipe cleaners and the battery. This will act as the on and off switch.
All right, so I'm gonna test. We did include these little stickers here. I'll show you what those are for in a second. I'm gonna just go ahead and hold it and test my thing once again. Make sure I'm still buzzing. Perfect.
The
Oh, look
eyes
at-
are moving.
I don't know if you can see. Look at how my Google eyes go. Whoa, that is
Ooh,
that
they're
is neat.
crazy.
All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take one of these little tiny stickers.
And what's neat is you could put them on top of the wire to the battery.
Now I'm gonna use that to stick it on, and whoa!
Oh, it's going backwards.
Look at that! Cool. And now this is just the beginning because I know. Whoa, look, he's doing a spinny headstand.
And you have your
Now see,
legs
mine keeps going
somewhere.
backwards. Let me think. Maybe because my legs are forward like that? I don't know.
And also you have longer legs. So
Yeah.
if you had shorter legs, if you bend them.
I want to try
We have
it like that.
Yeah, we have a few stickers here in your kit included, and you could use any stickers at home if you keep taking them on and off, but they stick pretty well just to really keep them in there.
Oop. There we go. Nice headstand spin.
Oh,
Ooh, look at
now
that.
he's-
I got a spin going because I think one leg might be. Oh, I know what happened. This one, his toes are touching the ground. This leg wasn't actually touching.
Exactly. So this one, if you can see on the right side, is up a little bit more. So maybe if it's going in one direction more, maybe you have more weight down there, so your center of gravity is more towards the middle.
Cool.
That's an idea.
All right. Well, let's see what it says next, and then we'll get back to playing with the stuff. What do we have next in the book?
So next step is we are going to dive in and engineer our bristle bots. That's what we did. And we have those extra legs. You have scissors in your kits as well. And this is the part that we are going to get our bristle bot lab. So it's right here, 2 worksheets, one with 2 sides, one with one.
So go ahead and why don't you find that, make sure you get it, get your pencil and stuff out. You can hit pause if you need to, and we will join you for that in just a second. All right, so we got our BristleBot lab and our pencil, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started doing my my lab here.
Yeah, so we have 3 very short questions first. First is make a hypothesis. So what is a hypothesis? Hypothesis, it's a fancy word that scientists use to make a guess, make an educated guess. So based on what we have learned so far, our physics concepts, a little bit about circuitry, what do you think will happen with your bristle bots? How many, legs do you think you want to use? What do you think is going to happen if you put more weight on one side than the other? And then another here.
Alright,
is
so it
what
says,
else?
how will the BristleBot change its movement depending on the configuration of the legs? So now what we're going to do with this project is we are not going to do all these individual steps and tests because we want you guys at home to kind of come up with your own experiment. So for these next 2 pages, or actually 3 pages, we got here, 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 and here, just basically answer these couple questions to kind of give you an idea. And then it says observations, data, results. So it gives you one example. Try it with, all the legs pointing down.
Pointing down meaning like on its tippy toes. So show them what pointing down would mean.
So maybe something more like that.
Now if you had a little bit shorter legs, it'd be like
Yeah, you
on
may
its
have
tippy
to
toes, like that.
Try the shorter ones like I did
Sean's
here.
got
So
the longer legs.
just experiment there. And that's the most important part. And that's why we are not going to actually sit here and do it because we want you guys to discover yourself.
And also, we talked about cause and effect earlier. So what's neat about this little lab is there's more drawing than writing. So when it says cause, sketch of Bristle's legs. So BristleBot's legs. So think of some kind of fun leg configuration and draw it. Draw your little robot. If you're not a good drawer, you could just draw a little rectangle with, lines. Maybe a leg on one side is longer and the other one's shorter. Maybe you have 2 legs, 4 legs, however many you want to make with your pipe cleaners. And then
So
when
then
it
we
says
have-
effect,
Yeah.
and then effect, what's neat is you could draw your BristleBot again and draw arrows this time. You can, if you're not that great of a drawer and you want to write it out, that's totally fine. You can. Before you saw it move this way and then that, so you can move. You could draw.
Yes, so I might, for mine, he was, moving backwards. I might just, it'd be as simple as that for the first test. And then he spun it around in circles and just draw something like that. You can make it more complicated if you want, but I can't draw, so I might just do something like that.
Just some squiggly lines.
And then it looks like we have space and ideas to do 4 of these. you definitely want to go through all those. And now this is the part where you gotta be real careful, really pay attention, really try and learn what's happening, because we're gonna have a contest. You're gonna need to know all these things for our contest we'll talk about in just a second. After you've tried the 4 different ways we recommend, I say definitely try a few different things too. So you want to experiment and see what's going to work
Yeah,
best.
so if
So all these pages are preparing you for this grand finale that we'll say in a second here. So after you've tried for a while, go ahead, try to answer these conclusion questions, see what you learned, and then the really creative part comes up. And I think that's when we have this second piece of paper here. So here's our contest, and we actually, it's not easy. Trust us. We looked at this. It's really not easy, but the goal is going to be what, Olga?
So we are going to take our bristle box, start in the middle, and try to hit 3 bullseyes in 10 seconds.
Whoa.
It's harder than it seems. It's a lot of fun, but harder than it seems. These bristle bots, they could move very sporadically. They move very quickly. So don't, give up hope, and, you could just move around your legs and see if you can hit them all. And if you don't hit them in 10 seconds, and even if it's like 20 seconds or 30, if it goes off the paper, comes back, that's fine too.
So now, if you think about it, all these other pages you just did are your engineering principles to try and figure out how you can now control your bristle bot. So, what you want to do, like she said, you just put them right here on the start, tape your little thing down, and let's see what happens. I got one, and then he's gone off.
So he's going
So I didn't do so good. So now again, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to, show you guys, because you're supposed to try and figure it out. But maybe if I were to bend his leg differently, or like Olga said, add weight, maybe I could get him to move the other direction. So this is the fun part. And again, we're kind of going to cut the video short here on purpose, because we want you guys to try to experiment and figure it out for yourselves.
Are you going to tell them about the Sunday
Absolutely.
science, or the
Yes.
Sunday?
So after you've tried,
Show us Sunday.
yeah, what we're going to do is we are going to have a post on Facebook. That'll be the day after we release these kits. There'll be a post on Facebook called Take Home Science, Show Us Sunday. Now what we want you to do, try and get your parents to do a little short video clip of you trying to do this course. And whatever video clip gets the most loves or likes is going to win a prize from us. Now, don't be upset if you don't actually hit all the targets. Doesn't necessarily matter. The public's going to vote on these, so I'm sure they're going to vote on, whether you got all the targets, plus how creative you got, how cool your BristleBot moves and looks, and all kinds of stuff like that. So this is just for fun, so don't get upset, but try and get your parents to record that quick little video and post it into the comments of the Facebook post we do on Sunday, and we'll see who wins a prize. Now that was fun. I'm going to play with my guy a little bit here, try and figure out some new ways to make him work. Thank you, Olga, for teaching us all this. I don't know if people realized,
absolutely.
we talked about all these real cool physics concepts and made a toy at the same time. So science is exciting. I'm going to play with this guy.
Realized that we were learning, did we?
If you're watching these, please, if you can, definitely share videos. If you are watching on Facebook, keep an eye on Facebook, because we do our science dailies, where we do a post 5 days a week talking about all the cool different types of science concepts. We have a Try It at Home Tuesday, very popular. People love sharing that one because it's cool DIY projects you can do. All these programs that we're doing, including these kits, are 100% free. So if you can help us by sharing, or if you can help us with a financial donation, that would be wonderful. We have a little bit of funding that's covering these first few kits, but we will need help from the community. So if you can make a donation, go to www.hosc.org. There's a little gift shop button up at the top. You click that, click donation, and you can definitely help out these programs. My eyeball just fell off. I'm going to stick that back on. Again, Olga, thank you. This was a really cool idea.
Thank you.
And
This was
thank you,
awesome.
everybody, for watching. You have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
All right, let me see if I can change stuff around.